information from a panel of super successful IBOs discussing prospecting, recruiting. Now what? Well, here we are. They're going to be introduced individually by their moderator who has been with them.
There he is. There's the man right there. Hey, Johnson.
How about now? Well, once again, I'd like to welcome everybody. Did everybody have a good evening last night? Well, I'd like to welcome you. We're going to do a panel on prospecting and recruiting. And my panel, I consider them the all-stars. They're the top 10 in the ACE program. You guys all know them, so I want to get them up here. We only have a quick time, but I want to get them up here. I want to get you guys as much knowledge from them. So I'm going to bring them up one at a time. First, I'd like to bring up National Vice President J.D. Jones. National Vice President Lionel Burst. Senior Executive Sales Director, might I mention, in 11 weeks, Don Gillette. And last but not least, National Sales Director Sally Streck. Like I said, I consider you guys the cream of the crop, so I want to go ahead and get right into it. One of the most important things you guys all know is training, prospecting, mentoring. So I want you guys to hear the information directly from what I consider the best. So we're just going to go ahead and get it started. We're going to start off with Janie. Since I know this microphone is having issues, I'm just going to go ahead and give you this one.
Okay.
All right. Yes, this one is on. Tell us, Janie, what is, with your group, what is the best thing that you do when it comes to mentoring training, when it comes to your systems that you got in place? Just share a little information with everybody about your team, what makes your team successful, why training, developing, and creating leaders on your team has always been so successful.
Yeah, training is really big. A lot of people, when they first come in, they need a lot of guidance, and they need it from us. So the first thing when they come in, we plug them into our training website. And once they join our training website, we have orientation for training for beginners, intermediate, and then advanced people, and then leadership training. So we plug them into that, and we have live calls. You know, people like to come into live calls, and we have recorded calls, you know, because not everybody can come to a live call. Then we have webinars, and then we have just, you know, hangouts where we can get to hang out and get to know each other. We have a community Facebook group, which we love our Facebook group, don't we? And that's how we connect with a lot of people, you know, because we don't see each other very often. So that's how we connect with all of our team, and that's how it's really important for them to connect with each other.
Okay, well, thank you, Janie. Now I want to pass that down to Team Eagle and Lionel Burks. Lionel, why don't you share a little insight on the same thing for them?
Well, you know, it's the same concept pretty much. We just do it a little different. But I believe IBOs come in, they're excited to get going, and they need directions. So what I like to do is kind of figure out why they're here. They call 21-day fast track. Tell me why you're here. Do a business plan. We like everybody to do a business plan because if you do a business plan, they give us some insight who you are and what you're really looking for. When I know that, then I know how to assist you on your goals. So we take you to the business plan. We train twice a month. We like to do training twice a month just to give you information and then development. And then we like to do recognition once a month so we can reward you for your effort that you do on the system that you process. It's all about the system, and we all encourage you, make a commitment. Give us 12 months at least to give it a chance to make it work. That's pretty much how it works.
Well, thank you, Lionel. And Don Gillette, a lot of you guys might not know Don Gillette. I'm just going to tell you he's been in the business a very short time. He made National Sales Director in 11 weeks. He's knocking on the door of presidents come 25K in less than 3 months. So Don, tell us a little about your systems.
I strongly believe in training. What I do is I have fixed training 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we fully embrace technology in my organization. What we do is we use the GoToWebinar system where people can view my screen. The way I see it, I know it's a little bit controversial because some people don't do it this way, but But imagine going to a class with blindfolds on. Well, that's kind of what happens when you're doing telephone training. They can't see what they should be seeing. I've also found that some people are afraid to ask questions. So what they do is I have my cell phone number at the bottom of the screen, and they text me their questions. And I just read their questions to the audience and respond without mentioning the person's name. And that opens up on people who would otherwise be a little bit gun-shy about asking questions. I do that consistently, and like I said, I embrace technology. I send out group text messaging just before the training starts, about an hour before, to 800 people on my team, and it just works. We're getting a lot of growth, a lot of duplication.
Well, thank you, Don. And Sally, I know Don is part of your group, but I know you also do a couple different things with your group. Give us a little insight on what you do.
I really like to put the sizzle lines to work for me and the power of automation. I mean, I really rely heavily on the sizzle calls, and we have quite a few real meat and potatoes recorded training that I have my team listen to, and a really healthy infrastructure of conference calls, and I think that's really important. No matter where you are in your organization, if you're a regional sales director or higher, you should start having your own conference calls. They're so important. And so one of the main things that we do is the lethal weapon phone and marketing skills calls, where I'm on the phone selling nationwide, and I'm on the phone making money and teaching my reps, my IBOs, how to do what I do. And conference calls, I think, are the glue to keep it all together. But also the sizzlers. I really believe in having some great sizzle calls, like a welcome aboard call for your team when they just start in the business, that gets them oriented into how to fast track to RSD, and then getting them into the conference calls. I know who's having the result. People that are plugging into the calls are the ones who are obviously building the business and taking the time to learn. And conference calls are great. Really rely heavily on that.
Okay. And what I noticed each of you guys saying, you guys each spoke about recognition a little. What I want you guys to do is please tell us on each of your groups what you do for recognition, how you keep your people engaged, and what recognition does for your organization along with the training and the mentoring. What does recognition provide your organization?
Want me to start? Okay. We really home in on the fast track to regional sales director, because the speed that you do it will determine the speed of your sales organization, I find. So we really home in on the fast track bonuses and hitting those different bonuses. It's very easy to do to get those first 10 sales in and hit that regional sales director. We just keep people really focused on that. And using the fast track bonuses. Fast track bonuses are amazing. They really help people. And
I'm glad you mentioned the fast track bonuses, Sally. Don, since you're new to the business, I would like you to talk a little about how do the fast track bonuses help your organization? Is it a way to keep your people engaged? Do you encourage them to hit each level when they come in, especially your new people, right away to pick up the fast track bonuses?
Absolutely. I cover the fast track bonus at least once a week with my people here, and when people hit those levels, I give them all kinds of recognition. But then I kind of do a short interview as to what they did to move up so quickly here, and it just gives people that sense of they're truly engaged in my organization. And a lot of folks, once again, are a little bit reticent to embrace technology, folks. It's not that hard to do. It really isn't.
Well, thank you, Don. And Lionel, we do meetings every other Saturday at the corporate office. I know you have lots of recognition. The Fast Track program is a big part of your organization. Can you tell us how it helps your organization?
Absolutely. Fast Track is, I'm an avid dad because I believe speed of the leader, speed of the pack. You come out of the gate running. I believe every conference call that we have, we challenge the IBL to the next conference call to take a challenge and we reward those guys. It just makes it grow. I believe in 10 transactions a month minimum. That's what I've been doing. So I teach that go out and give me 10 every month and work your way up to 10. But we always like to challenge because everybody looking for that nugget to grow the business. But I believe if you challenge that IBO, challenge yourself as well. I never give a challenge to IBO, but I'm challenging myself because I want to let them know I'm here. We're going to go do this together. So I believe in recognition, fast track. Fast track is cool, but I think it's just business on the books, consistent effort over time will win, and we teach that. So.
Thank you, Lionel. And Jamie, I know you have a pretty in-depth system when it comes to fast track. I know you guys have emails that go out when somebody promotes the regional sales director and beyond. Tell us a little about what you do.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I've learned that helped our organization, you've got to master recognition. If there's anything that you get from this event, learn how to become a master in recognition. Just like when you're in kindergarten, right? You know, you get that little star and how, and you feel so proud of it. Well, it's the same thing with our organization. We recognize every little thing. You know, when I first started, we used to recognize, like when they would do one IBO a month or two, we didn't care what it was. Their name was in print on a newsletter, it was sent out. You know, people like to see their name in print. So I always tell everyone, if you're not recognizing your team for all those little things, you're missing out big time. So the more recognition you give, the more they'll go out there and do more. So learn how to master recognition. It doesn't cost you much to do that at all. We do a lot of our recognition online because we don't have regional meetings and stuff like that. But you're right, we do their little story, their pictures and their story about them. And then we have their upline to do a little bit, share something about their team member that just moved up in the company. And then we send it out to everyone. So they are bombarded with all this, congratulations, you did it. And that's just so inspiring to them. And it keeps them wanting to move up to the next level. And plus, it motivates people in your organization. When they see people moving up, they want to go and do it too. So I always tell everyone, gosh, get those recognitions out there, the stories of people moving up. It's so inspiring to do all of that.
Well, thank you, Jamie. And now that we've talked about recognition, we talked about fast track. I know the big question out there, especially with these guys right here, most of them are in the ACE top 10. Where do you guys find them? And how do you find your IBOs? How do you find your members? We'll start off with Jamie.
When I first started, I had two little ones at home, so my goal was to build something online. So that was me, but when people come into my organization, I don't tell them you have to do it this way because everyone's different. For example, I have 6 sisters, and they were so offline marketing. They love offline. So I just figured it out really quickly. You have to give people choices. So when people join our organization, we give them choices. Do you want to learn how to do it online or offline? And a lot of them start off with comfortable for them. For example, if somebody would have told me you've got to do this offline, it would have been really difficult for me and I might have gotten discouraged. So I give people choices. Do you want to do it online or offline? And if they say I want to do it online, then we say, great, let's focus on this. If they want to do it offline, then they can focus on that. But online, oh my goodness, when I first started, we didn't have any social media. We didn't have all these great tools and technology. We have all of that now. So we're really big into training people how to network online. And then, of course, for the people that want to do it offline, we teach them how to do that as well.
Thank you, Jamie. Lionel, can you share a little insight on how you do it on your team?
Pretty much the same concept. The difference between offline and online is the same. We have to do the numbers. And I think what we do in AmeriPlan is 2 things. We enroll members, we sponsor business partners. So how do we find these folks we're looking for? I came to the local market and I understand that there's so many people out there looking for change. So I just say, well, we're going to go out and target places that people that are sick and tired of those jobs, JOB out in the marketplace, and I offer them the opportunity to change their situation, and that's what we do. We go out in the local market and do that. But when I meet my IBOs, the new IBOs that, like Jamie said, it's about what they want. If they want to be online, well, we got to get you online. We don't resist what you want to do, because if I have you to go online, you want to do offline, it's not going to work. So I think I meet the IBO where they at, and whatever the weaknesses are, we got to work on that. And whatever their strengths are, we got to excel on that. That's what I believe. So whether it's online or offline, it's the same concept. You just got to do the numbers. And I tell folks, it's no different. The same presentation you do online, the same one you do offline, because you have to meet the opposition wherever they're at. That's what I believe.
Thank you, Lionel. And Don, I can tell every time I talk to Don on the phone, I hear 3 or 4 phones ringing in the background, so please share what makes those phones ring so much.
All right. First of all, I write all the ads for my people. I've been writing ads for 32 years, so there's no issues with that. A lot of people are a little bit intimidated by writing their own ads. And then I teach my people to find 2 websites a week to advertise on, either paid or free. And that's just cool. There's 2 a week. They go onto Google and they punch in free job posting websites, that type of a thing. And after a while, they've got 10 or 15 different websites to advertise on. If each website only provides 2 leads a day, you get 10 websites. That's 20 leads a day coming in. Your business is going to grow. It works for me quite well.
Thank you, Don. And Sally, you share with us on your calls weekly, but go ahead and please share with the audience what you do.
Well, I love advertising. 3-line ads is what I've always used, and it works really well for me. And I do a lot with classifiedads.com, Craigslist, of course, the Backpage, Snagajob. There's all kinds of sites, like Don was saying, out there. But I like 3-line ads. I also believe ramping it up in the local market, just like I teach with the 1-foot rule and sizzle cards and business-to-business card magnet button. I teach my IBOs how to do both, local and long distance. And after they've gone through my training, then I like to take it and customize it to their personality. But if you want to really take it to the top, you really need to do a little bit of it. You need to do everything. So 3-line ads, I love. I'm traveling a lot this month, and I can be on the road. My phone's ringing with incoming calls. I have no downtime prospecting. I'm not having to spend, if I'm having a bad day or what have you, the phone's still ringing. So I really believe in the advertising. I also believe you got to invest in your success. You've got to spend a little bit of money. Create a little budget for yourself to get your ads started. Maybe it's $100 to start. Obviously, the more the better. And just keep, when you get your advances, put it back into the kitty. But you will always be a winner with advertising.
Well, thank you, Sally. Another question I want you guys to all answer. A lot of things that we see in American, one of the most important things is how you work with your new people in the business, their first 30 days. Tell me what it's like for the first 30 days of somebody in the Freedom at Home team.
Well, as soon as they join, we send them straight to our training website, and there's a new IBO orientation, and we have them running, all throughout the week. So, in the daytime, some in the evenings, pleasure calls are recorded because some people can't come. So we make sure we plug them into the new IBO orientation calls. And then we also have a couple of our, Patty, she runs our Friday call where, it takes them a little bit more into the details about what do you do after your first couple of days, about fast tracking, about getting the basics out of the way. So there's the basics, and then there's also let's get started. Because some people sometimes they get stuck on the basics and they just can't move forward. They're like get overwhelmed, or they're like trying to analyze everything. So.
Thank you, Jamie. Why don't you give us a little insight, Lionel, on Team Eagle's first 30 days?
First 30 days, like I said, first thing we're going to do a business plan. We set a target date for RSD, of course, that's the first position. We set a target date. We have the first 72 hours of business. Talks about the back office, login, how that works. Then we have a 21-day fast track that tells us exactly what to do in the local market. Or it also talks about an internet market. So you have a system where you can choose which one you want to go. Whether you're going to go out and do medical survey forms, you're going to do flyers, sizzle cards. It breaks it all down for you. And then we challenge you to pick out at least 3 items out of that system and work it around your job. If you part-time, you work that. But I think the crucial thing is the business plan, number 1. So I know what you're looking for, what you want, efforts you're going to give it. So I know the hours that you're going to do this thing. So I'm making myself available so we can communicate. And after that, we give you the 21-day fast track. It tell you exactly step by step what you should do in order to achieve that fast track race.
Thank you, Lionel. Don, on your team, which I know is Team 1, probably similar to Sally, what are you guys doing your first 30 days?
Well, what I've set up for my team is what is called the Share File System. It's an online file sharing website, and they can log in, and they have two options. They can go to start earning in 48 hours, or they have full, complete training files. They go right down step 1, step 2, step 3. And I emphasize the importance of short-term massive action. There's two ways you can build a business: fast and exciting, or slow and painful. And I said, well, let's go fast and exciting. So I explained to them, then you got to learn time management, which is using the word no frequently. No, I can't go to this basketball game tonight. No, I'm not going to watch the movie. No, I'm not going to do this. No, they have to be willing to sacrifice some time to break out of their schedule enough time to work the business intensely and consistently. And I also explain the importance of setting up a work schedule and focus on productive activity versus busy work. A lot of people get involved with, just busy things, cleaning up their desk and all that stuff. I said, the way you determine the most important thing to do is what frightens you the most. Whatever frightens you the most is what has the greatest monetary potential. So rather than sharpening your pencils, you talk to a prospect. It's scarier, but it's got a lot more income potential.
Well, thank you, Don. And we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. But one thing I really want to get out of you guys, what is the number one advice that you would give to any IBO out there? Not just a new IBO, but an IBO that might not be where they want to be right now. They might not, they want, going into the next coming year, they want to achieve what, you guys have achieved. What's the number one piece of advice you can give them? Sally?
It's a numbers game to find your superstars and to not stop in the middle of the journey. Realize that you're going to need to be doing the production 5 a month. Of course, now that's changed. 100 points or what have you. You want to make sure that you're consistent and never stop recruiting. Never stop recruiting 5 a month, 5 a month, 5 a month. And if you do that, you're going to have the results. But it's a numbers game. You're looking for that rare person that wants this so bad, they want it so much, and they're going to do it with or without you. And you're looking, it just takes a few people like that to retire you in this business. So it's a numbers game, and a book I encourage all of you to get is Mark Yarnell's Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell. Powerful book. It really changed the way I did business when I first got into Ameriplan, because I tried to put people on my back and take them across the finish line. And I learned that numbers, do the numbers, get your people trained, make sure your IBOs are trained properly, but that does not mean stacking and packing or putting them on your back. It means giving them a good foundation, and what they're going to do with it is up to them. You don't run a Kendrick here.
Don, what's a piece of advice you can give? We're going to go real quick now, so go ahead and finish up.
Okay, first a piece of advice is adopt the attitude, failure is not an option. No matter what happens, you're committed to this thing. Play the game. When you have some kind of a setback, maybe you enroll a person, 2 days later the person quits. Well, at least you know right now they're a flake, rather than 6 months down the road. Okay? Next thing here is just be enthusiastic. If you're enthusiastic during your interviews, that'll cut your I gotta think about it in half. When people see that you're enthusiastic, it comes through your presentation, it'll dramatically increase your enrollment percentages.
Basically, I really believe whatever you resist, you gotta persist. Whatever fear you have to take on that fear, and you'll be okay. Commitment, persistent, effort. I believe effort is the way to go. To get up and do this consistent is tough, but it's worth it. And you gotta know if this is really your vehicle, Ameriplan, you gotta give that effort and consistent. And just be here. Say, I'm not gonna be the one to check out, because you can't quit on Ameriplan, you quit on yourself. That's what I believe.
Okay, develop your skills. Skills will pay the bills. So if you need to master your presentation, if you master that, practice it until you become really, really good at it. If you know you're lacking in marketing, then focus on marketing and and just stay on marketing and develop those. If you can do those two things, you can go as high as MVP and do whatever you want here.
Well, thank you guys. Let's everybody give them a big round of applause. Thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next session.